All right, hello and welcome to episode 6 of our SOC Level 2 pathway of TryHackMe. And in today's episode, we're going to be going through the Splunk dashboards and reports. We've done everything on Splunk so far, including an exercise that we did, which was the PS Eclipse exercise. We've done log analysis, so on and so forth. And in today's episode, we're going to be going through the dashboards and reports. And my machine is currently loading, so we'll have that ready to go for whenever we are ready to go. And I think it's going to be a fairly short video today, mostly because of the fact that we're just going to be designing various dashboards to help us with accessing certain information quickly. That's what the purpose of dashboards are. And we're going to be looking at reports in a way that a security analyst would, to be able to pull information to respond to incidents quickly. So all of this is all about response and quick response. There's going to be a subscriber only room. So the one that we're going through today requires that you actually have a paid membership. A lot of the videos that we've done so far have been able to be accessed through a free membership without any paid features. So this one in particular requires that you have a paid membership. There's a discount link in the description below that'll give you a $5 discount on your monthly membership, in addition to just having a very cheap service already. Or I don't want to call it cheap because it's a great service, so an inexpensive service. In addition to having an inexpensive service, you can also get an extra $5 off by using the discount below. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the introduction of this room. Okay, by now you should already know what Splunk is, and the fact that it is literally probably one of the most widely used SIEMs in the world, security information and event management solutions in the enterprise environment. You can do a lot with it, especially if you have a large company or if you are a security analyst for a very, very large company. And one of the big things that happens when you're working in an enterprise environment is that you have a lot of data. So you have a lot of endpoints, a lot of users. So there's a lot of data that's being created, millions of data points happening on a daily basis, if not an hourly basis. And what you need to do is you need to sort through that data quickly and find the stuff that is applicable to your job and to your particular situation. And again, do it in a timely manner. So that's one of the main reasons why the dashboard is such an important concept in SIEM management in general, not just Splunk. So we're going to be talking about that today, the organization of data. So why do we need to organize data in Splunk? Creating dashboards for visualization of high-level information, scheduling reports for recurring searches of data, translating Security Operations Center or SOC use cases to alerts. These are the learning objectives of today's video, and these are the prerequisites that we have for it. So the Splunk basics, exploring SPL, which is the language for Splunk, and setting up a SOC lab. All of these things have been already created. So if you just go to the channel and search for Splunk inside of the channel contents, inside of this channel, you'll be able to find that information. So I'm going to go to the channel, and this is our channel. So we'll just pull it up in, and I'm going to click on this little search button right here, this little magnifying glass, and then from here just search Splunk. Oh my god, I can't even spell. So there we go, search for Splunk, and now we got all the videos that have to do with Splunk and all the playlists that have to do with Splunk. And so you just go through these and you find what you need specifically about the rooms that we're in. And so Splunk basics or exploring SPL, I put these inside the description so it helps a little bit to know what you are looking for. So if we do exploring SPL, for example, it'll bring up the SPL video, so the how to use the Splunk SPL video, which was posted actually yesterday. So you can search for videos by what would be in the title itself, because I put that inside the description. The titles for the videos aren't going to be exactly this. I try to make catchy titles to make them clickable, but inside the description I put the exact verbiage of the room, I put the exact verbiage of the room itself, so that if you wanted to search for it by the actual room name, you could do it that way. So these are the prerequisites. If you haven't seen them, go watch them now, and then we'll continue with this video. Now that that's out of the way, let's actually talk about organizing data in Splunk. Okay, when you open up Splunk, when you land on your Splunk instance, doesn't matter what the IP address or any of that stuff is, this is literally the very first page that you're going to see. And you can click on a variety of different buttons. If you've never set up any kind of a forwarder or any kind of an endpoint connection, then you would actually need to go to the add data parts to be able to do that. But this is assuming that you've already done it. So once you sign in, you can go through search and reporting, which is this button right here. You click on search and reporting and you're brought to here. And we've done this in previous videos. So if you've seen any of the previous videos, you should already be familiar with this. And then from here, you can go through search history, or you can actually start your new search here and then continue. So once you have the interface for the search app, we can search with something called index equals asterisk, which again, we've done previously, which means it's going to pull up all of the indexes that are available, all the indices that are available for you to search from, and it'll bring you all of the information. And then you can fine tune your search as you go along. So doing index equals asterisk is going to bring up, in this example, it brings up 35,000 events with a bunch of different interesting fields on the side right here that you can choose from. And looking through that, there is a lot of stuff that could be overwhelming, right? So if you don't, especially if you don't know what you're searching for, if you don't know what's of note or what should be relevant to you, if you wanted to sift through all of these 35,000 events, it'll take you days, probably weeks or months. Looking at raw data is often not a good idea when the goal is to get an overview of the organization's security posture. It also doesn't give you much information about the threats and attacks that are launched against the organization. And obviously this is just a sample. In production, you would avoid running searches for all time because they put an undue load on the search head. So this is what you see right here, right? So on the right section right here, instead of doing the last 24 hours or a certain date range, if you do all time, it's going to bring up all of the data points. And if it's a company that's been around for years and they've had their Splunk instance set up for years, it's going to probably make your system freeze or crash. So you don't want to do that. You want to have specific ranges of dates that you want to look at. So that's very important. These are problems that happen when you have a lot of data. So as a data analysis platform, it provides solutions for those types of problems. And that's what we're going to be talking about. What is going to show all the indexes in the index equals asterisk. That shows you all of the indexes in Splunk. So this is like a very straightforward thing. I think we're going to probably do a few exercises, but I really think it's going to be a short room. So that being said, let's actually go into creating reports for recurring searches. All right, so a big thing that's going to come up in a security environment in the real world is that there's going to be a need for 24-hour around-the-clock analysis, or like somebody just sitting there and looking at something. And of course, there's labor laws that prevent a human being from doing that. So most likely your shift is going to change every 8 hours. And if your shift is going to change every 8 hours, there's something that you could do, that you can run a search, or you can create a recurring search that can be done inside of Splunk every 8 hours because a new analyst shows up for their shift, right? So you can do that at a specific time. You can then save those results. You can also do multiple searches that need to be ran. Instead of running them all at the same time, you can do them every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, and you can have various searches running. So they'll run automatically, and they will run not simultaneously, because running everything simultaneously can crash the system, or have be inefficient, as they say, or have errors, so on and so forth. So we're actually going to do this in our lab environment. I already started this machine. That's why they've given us the IP address, and this is going to be the link for our Splunk instance. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go into my little attack box right here, and I'm going to paste it into my browser, and then we'll get access to our Splunk instance, and then we can start creating some reports and go through all that. Okay, so here we are. This is what you land on. Literally, as it said before, you land on this page as soon as you load it. And if we click on search and reporting, it'll load that very same page that we just saw. And then from here, now we want to actually go into the reports tab, which is right here. So if I click on the reports tab, we'll see something very similar to this right here. So there's reports that have been generated, and we have our version as well. I'm actually going to open this up in a new window so we have better viewership of it. And here is our full browser window of Splunk right here. And now we can compare it to exactly what we see right here, and it's pretty much the same thing. So we see a list of reports already saved. If we want to view the results of a report, you can just click on one. However, if we want to run a new search using the same query as the one in a report, we can use the open in search option. The edit option allows you to edit the reports. The next scheduled time tab allows where the next report will run again. And we can also see the report's owner and its associated permissions. Please note that we have selected all the reports to be shown in the view. There are options for viewing only the logged in user reports, as well as for viewing the reports added by the app. To create a new report, we can run a search and use the save as option to save the search as a report. So this could be, for example, something that they ran. So they're searching for error or failed or severe or this entire string right here, and then save it as a report. Once you click the save as a report, we'll see the following window, and you give it a title, a description if you want, and where it's going to be, and you want a time range maybe, so you can do that as well. Filling in the required data and clicking the save option will save the search as a report. So we're going to do the same thing in the attached instance. To create a report on a search, we'll first have to understand the data, and on the left tab we'll see some fields that they've been identified that might be interesting, yada yada yada. So let's click on the host to see the number of hosts sending logs to Splunk instance. We have 3 hosts in this particular example, and they're all sending different number of events. So if we want to determine the times that each VPN user logged in using the given time window, which is all time for this room, we'll run the following query. So this is going to be the host. That's one of the hosts right here. So the VPN server, the stats that you want, and you want to count them by the username. And it's going to bring the results for you under statistics. And then you'll see that each username has been logged in however many times. And you want to track these users so you can save them as a report, and so on and so forth. And that's it. When we see the content for this under the statistics table, because we used the stats count, the time range picker has been set to yes, and it means that the report will be given in a time range picker option. And when we click save, we get the following prompt telling us that the report has been created. And then you can click the view option to view the report. And on the reports tab, now you can see the new report, just like that. So we're going to create a report from the network server log that lists the ports used in a network connection and their count. What is the highest number of times any port is used in network connections? And then while creating reports, which option do we need to enable to get to choose the time range? And that is the one that was literally just here. It was the time range picker. So that's the answer that I can give right now. And now let's actually go create our report. So it says in the network server log, that list. So first let me go and search for all the indexes, and then from there we'll get the network server index equals all of them, and we want all time. So on the right, it defaults does the last 24 hours and so you always want to change your timeline unless you really are just looking at the last 24 hours. But in this lab environment, we want to change it to all time. And then we're going to click on host. And so we have these hosts right here, the VPN, web server, network server, and that's the one that I want to work with. So it's going to be network server, host is going to be network server. I'll leave the index as everything. And then I'm going to do a pipe the way that they did. We're going to do stats, we're going to do count. And then what are we counting for? Ports. What is the highest number of ports? And so the type of command they used was stats count by username. So I'm going to do stats count by and port, or maybe lowercase port. Let's see. Okay, there we go. But it doesn't give me, oh, it does give me the port. So it gives me the port right here, and then it gives me the count. So 1, 2, etc., etc. just from looking at this, it seems that the highest number is 2, but I think there's a way that we can even sort it to show us stats count by port in descending order. So by port, I think there's another thing where we do sort port. Oh, sort count actually. And it's gonna do, it does it automatically by ascending, so I wonder if I can do it by descending by just changing the filter. I gotta do a little bit of research to see how I can do a descending sort inside of Splunk. So give me a quick second and I'll be right back. Okay, so it was actually a very simple fix. You literally, all you need to do is just put a minus sign in front of the count, and it will do it in descending order instead of ascending order. And now we can see that the count has gone from the 5, 4, so on and so forth. So the highest count that we see for a port showing up is actually 5. And just like that, we got our answer. Very, very simple and easy to do. Now we need to create some dashboards. So let's go into creating dashboards for summarizing these things. Actually, so before I jump into that, I do want to do this as an exercise right here. So I want to click on save as, save it as a report, and I want to save this as a report. So it's going to be network, what was the name of it? We did network server port count. I'll just do that. Network server port count. Boom, just like that. And save. You now have this. Additional settings could be this, and I can click on view, and there's my report. So literally exactly what it showed on the previous screen, but now I guess it's in a view format. So if I go to search now, it'll bring me right here, and I can click on reports again, and it should show me the report that I just made right here. Network server port count, and I do that, and it counts the ports by descending order, so on and so forth. Very cool. So there we go. We just created our report. Now we can move on to creating dashboards. So if you're a visual person the way that I am, I'm actually very much into flowcharts and graphs and dashboards and things like that. Then you'll probably get a really good kick out of this as well. So there's an option to create a dashboard and visualizations. So it provides a user with quick info about the data present in Splunk, and they're often created to help create a brief overview on the most important bits of data. They present data and statistics to management, such as the number of incidents in a given time frame, or for SOC analysts to figure out where to focus, such as identifying spikes and drops in data sources, which might indicate a surge in failed login attempts, for example. The primary purpose of dashboards is to provide a quick visual of the available information. So we're going to create a dashboard in the attached VM, and you go into the first menu, you click on dashboards, and it has the dashboards that have already been created. You can click on new dashboard right here, and it'll help you create one. Very similar to the reports tab, it shows you the data about the stuff that's already existent. Labeled as 2 is the list of available dashboards. We have selected all dashboards instead of yours or this apps, and it can show a different list. 3 is information about the dashboard, like the owner, permissions, etc. We also find the option to edit the dashboard. And so when you click on creating one, this is what the fields that come up. So you have the dashboard title, the description, the permissions. How do you want to build it from Classic or Dashboard Studio, which I guess is a new thing. After filling in the relevant details, we can click on whichever one we want. And so I guess they chose, I think Dashboard Studio is what they got. And instead of being private, it's going to be shared in app. And then do you want full A controller grid? So let's see here. It's been shared in app. It's going to be visible to others. We're going to use the classic dashboard approach to create a dashboard, and then you click create. It tells us to click add panel to start, and when you do that, we get the following menu on the right, which is going to be this whole spiel, and then you want to add results that you get, so errors and all these things, VPN users, And this is the stuff that you got from the reports that you would be able to add to the dashboard. So you can do new from report essentially, or new, or a variety of different options, clone from dashboards, or add a pre-built one. And so you add it, and it will now allow you to choose a visualization option, and you can visualize it, and finally it will look like this. This is what it's going to look like. And then you can, I guess, change the color scheme as well. So we're going to create a dashboard from the web server logs that show the status codes and a line chart, which status code was observed for the least number of times, and what is the name of the traditional Splunk dashboard builder. It's classic. So we're going to create one from the web server logs now that shows the status codes in a line chart. So let's first create that report, and then we're going to go and make a graph from it, a visualization from it. So same thing, right? Index equals asterisk for it to show me everything, and I do want it to show me everything for all time. And then now I want to look at the web server. So I'm going to click host equals web server, and it's going to give me that. And now I want stats to show me count by status code, like that. So let me see if that works. Excellent. So we got counts by status code, and we have it. So very, very simple and easy, just like that. So now I have it, status code 200 whatever whatever, and then those are all my counts. So now I'm going to save this as a report, and it's going to be the web server status codes, and I'm just going to save it as such. And then we're going to, I think I can even add it to the dashboard. But so here's what it is, right? So this is what I got. So now I can go to dashboards. I could have literally just added it to the dashboards from where I was, but I want to go through this flow that we have right here. So this is our dashboards menu. We're going to click the create new dashboard button, and it's going to show me the title. So web server status codes is going to be it. And we'll do shared in app, why not? And then we'll do classic, and we'll do create. Okay, and so this is where we end up, and then it says click add panel to start. So I'm going to click on add panel, and then this is what shows up, a new form report, and I want the one that I just made, which is the web server status codes. And I'm going to add this to my dashboard, and it will look like this. And there's that. So select visualization right here. So we'll do a line chart, I think is what they told us to make, right? Where do I go right here? And it says in a line chart. Yeah, so I'm going to make a line chart. Here we go. This is the line chart. And so this one is 1210. This one is 1216. So status code 400 is the lowest one, just like that. Look how easy that was. Boom, just like that. And I got the right answer. That's right. So just like that, we were able to create another report. We created a dashboard for that report, and we visualized it inside a line chart to pull our data. So now, last piece, we want to alert on high priority events. All right, so this one involves a little bit more information, and so instead of skimping through this, I'm going to read basically all of it, and then we'll go ahead and follow the instructions to apply the exercise. So in the previous task, we practiced creating reports and dashboards. We understood that when we need to run a search repetitively, we can use reports, and if we want to club a few reports together or make visualizations, we can use dashboards. However, reports and dashboards will only be viewed by users at set time intervals. Sometimes we want to be alerted if a certain event happens, such as if the amount of failed logins on a single account reaches a threshold. It indicates a brute force attempt, and we would like to know as soon as it happens. In this task, we will learn how to set up alerts. Unfortunately, we can't practice setting up alerts on the attached instance because of licensing issues. However, we'll explain it how to set it up in this task. So first, you want to run a search for your required search term. In the Save As drop-down, we'll see an option for saving as an alert. And in the previous task, we identified that the user Sarah logged in the most during the time range. Therefore, let's narrow down to the all login events of the user Sarah. So the search itself looks like this, right? So you have index is the summary. That's the index that you want to go through. It's not all the indexes. The extracted host is the VPN server, and the username is Sarah. And then the all time is changed right here. And then you can click on save as and save it as an alert right here. When you click alert in the save as menu, you get to start configuring the parameters, which is very simple. You have the title, the description, the permissions that's going to be shared in the app. You want to run it every week, so that's the scheduling for this. And you're going to run it Monday at 6, expires in 24 hours, and then it runs again, right? So the trigger conditions is when the number of results is greater than 0, right? So the alert in this case is what? The username, the number of alerts is greater than 0. And I feel like that would be, even if they failed once, it would just show it up. So you have the title, description, permissions. We have some more specifics. It's scheduled and it will run per schedule. And if the condition is satisfied, the alert will be raised. Depending on the license and configuration instance, you might get an option for scheduling real-time alerts. And then you have trigger conditions. And so the trigger conditions is, we didn't see that. So trigger alert when the number of results is greater than 0. The trigger conditions is that for each result, so it's defined conditions where the alert will be raised. So let's say we raise the alert when the login count of our user is more than 5, which is not what they put here. So this is what I want to be clear on. So if the login count for our user is more than 5, in that case, we'll use the number of results option to and set the greater than to 5. We can trigger 5 alerts for the 5 login times, or we can just trigger 1 alert for exceeding that count. The throttle option lets us limit the alerts by not raising an alert in the specified time period if an alert is already triggered. So you throttle it and it only shows you 1 alert, right? This can help reduce alert fatigue, which can overwhelm analysts when there are too many alerts. The final option here is for trigger actions. This option allows us to define what automated steps Splunk must take when the alert is triggered. For example, we might want Splunk to send an email to the SOC email account in case of an alert. So add to the triggered alerts, the log event, output results to lookup, output results to telemetry on endpoints, send an email, so on and so forth. And then you can see the configured alert in its entirety. So it's going to run every hour, 24 hours. The number of results is greater than 5. And for each result, there's going to be a throttle. So suppress triggering for 60 minutes. And then the actions is to send an email. If the alert is triggered, Splunk is gonna send an email to the SOC analyst, and the priority is gonna be the highest because you think that it's a brute force attempt, and for the user Sarah, and it will be set with the highest priority, so on and so forth. So that's basically how you create an alert, and I think it's pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, we can't do it because I have an alert tab, but it says it's asking that you want to confirm to leave that whatever. So we're going to leave the page. I want to see if I can go to the alert tab. This feature is not available in your installed set of licenses. So I don't have alerts on the Splunk instance that we have, which is all good. At least we learned how to make one. So what feature can we use to make Splunk take some actions on our behalf? And it's going to be trigger actions, which allows you to define what automated steps to take when the alert is triggered. So we're going to trigger actions, and which alert type will trigger the instant an event occurs. This is the thing right here. So it's going to be our real-time alert, which is going to be happening in the instant that we get something real-time. Very good. And which option, when enabled, will only send a single alert, and I believe that's the throttle. Is that how you spell throttle? Yeah, okay, throttle. And there we go, that's it. So we got it, and that is it for our entire dashboards and reports room. And so we have our conclusion, which is very basic. So obviously it was a brief introduction to this. We didn't even get a chance to create an alert. But it is important that we understand that you need to organize data, and you can create reports, and you can even create scheduled reports, and you can turn those reports into visualized dashboards, and then you can add that into the overall dashboard that you have at the very beginning right here, where you have these views right here. And there's a version of this that, like, when you click on when you land on the search part right here, actually I'm sorry, not even on the search part, I believe it's when you land right here, right? So when you land on the home page, you could have your dashboard show up here, and this whole thing, from the moment that you land on it, it would be able to show you your data. Let's see if it shows us to us when we land here. Do we have a dashboard option here? We do not. I think it would show up on the dashboards themselves. Unfortunately, I haven't like messed around with it enough to be able to see it, but just by testing some of these things, we can see what the various dashboards are, and then we can see what we can see when the data is populated. So that is it. Instead of getting distracted and digressing into a bunch of different things, I'm going to call this video, because that is literally the end of this video. And yeah, that's it for episode 6 on the SOC Level 2 pathway, which was our third, technically it's the 4th video on Splunk, but it's our 3rd official video on the Advanced Splunk module. If you got any value from this video, I do encourage you to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you get notified the next time that we drop something. And a really cool thing, and this is actually kind of part of the comments that I got in our comment section, is that there is going to be a face reveal at 10,000 subs, and there is going to be the identity reveal at 100,000 subs. If by, after I do my face reveal, if people don't figure out my identity themselves and then they put it on blast. But if they don't figure out my identity, then I'm going to reveal my identity at 100K, but face reveal will definitely happen at 10,000 subs. So I would love to have you as a part of our community, and at the same time, it would just be really nice to see you in our comment section. We have a pretty lit comment section that comes in, and it happens all the time, and a lot of questions come in, and we have a lot of good conversations back and forth, and there sometimes even debates, and sometimes a video comes through from one of the questions that's been raised inside of the comment section. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's honestly, it's one of the greatest experiences that I've had so far in my life, to be able to actually have a community build around one of the things that I thoroughly enjoy doing. So thanks again, and I really do look forward to seeing you in our comment section. All right, it's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker / protector. I love, peace, and chicken grease. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next room. Peace.